This is the Motorola Signature, and I will say it right from the start, Motorola isn't just trying to build another high-end smartphone here, but something that's supposed to feel more luxurious than your typical flagship. And on paper, it definitely looks impressive. A 6.8-inch extreme AMOLED display with up to 165Hz, Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, 16 gigs of RAM, 5200 mAh battery, and a full 50 megapixel triple camera setup with main, ultra-wide, and periscope zoom. So technically, this is far from a half-hearted attempt. The real question is, does it actually deliver on the luxury promise in everyday use, or is it just a really good Motorola flagship with slightly fancier branding? That's exactly what we're going to find out today. Let's start with the design, and my test unit is in Pantone Martini Olive Green. And I have to say, this color fits really well with what Motorola is going for here. It feels more mature, more refined, and less cold and technical compared to many other flagship smartphones. On top of that, you get this twill-inspired back, which doesn't just look different, but also feels generally premium in the hand. At just 6.99mm, the phone is impressively thin, and at 186 grams, it's also relatively light for a 6.8-inch device. That combination is something you will immediately notice in daily use because despite the large size, it never feels bulky or overly heavy. You also get aluminum frame, Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the front, and IP68, IP69 plus military standards. So Motorola is clearly combining a sleek, elegant design with serious durability. And that's actually quite a rare mix because many thin phones feel fragile, while this one feels solid and well built. Now when it comes to the display, it's clear that Motorola didn't hold back. This is a 6.8-inch extreme AMOLED panel with a resolution of 2780 by 1264, 450 ppi, LTPO technology, always on display, and up to 165Hz refresh rate. On top of that, you get a peak brightness of up to 6200 nits, which sounds insane on paper and in practice means you won't have any issues using this outdoors. You also get Dolby Vision, HDR10+, Pantone validated colors and skin tones, 100% DCI-P3 coverage, and 10-bit color with over a billion shades. So this isn't just a good display, it's clearly one of the strongest panels in this class. Whether it's videos, movies, gaming, or social media, this screen delivers a premium experience across the board. There's also water touch support, which can actually be very useful if your screen gets wet. And since a great display also needs good audio, Motorola includes stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos, high-res audio, and tuning by Bose. It all comes together nicely, especially for watching videos or listening to music, making the whole experience feel properly premium. Now under the hood, you get the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 paired with 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of UFS 4.1 storage. So in terms of hardware, Motorola is going all in. This is the kind of setup where you simply don't have to worry about performance. Apps load instantly, multitasking is smooth, and even demanding games should run at a very high level. What's particularly interesting is the advanced cooling system, including liquid metal, copper structures, and a larger vapor chamber. That shows Motorola isn't just aiming for high performance on paper, but also consistent performance over time. Especially during longer gaming sessions or heavy camera use, that kind of thermal management really matters. So the Signature is not just a lifestyle flagship, but also a proper performance-focused device. Now on the software side, the Motorola Signature runs on Android 16, which is a big plus for many people because Motorola usually sticks closer to stock Android than most brands. That means the system feels cleaner, lighter, and less cluttered. At the same time, you still get Motorola usual features like gestures, customization options, and extra tools. There are also modern AI features, including Google Gemini and Motorola's own AI integration throughout the system. Another important point is the promise of 7 years of updates and security patches, which is a big deal in this price range. Alongside that, you get an ultrasonic in-display fingerprint sensor, face unlock, and ThinkShield security. Overall, the software feels well-rounded and not just packed with features for the sake of it. For the battery, you get a 5200 mAh silicon carbon battery, which is especially interesting because Motorola managed to fit it in such a tiny body. So the phone doesn't sacrifice design for battery life, but tries to balance both. Motorola claims up to 52 hours of battery life and long usage times across different scenarios. As always, you should take those numbers with a grain of salt, but in real-world use, this should easily get you through a full day and likely beyond with moderate usage. Charging is also very complete, 90 watts wired, 50 watts wireless plus reverse charging, both wireless and via cable. Especially the 50-watt wireless charging is a real premium feature that not every flagship offers at this level. Now looking at the camera, it's clear that Motorola is taking things seriously right here. You get a full triple 50 megapixel setup, starting with the main camera using the Sony Letia 828 sensor with OIS. That's a strong foundation, especially because a larger sensor helps with light capture, dynamic range, and overall image quality. Then there's the 50 megapixel ultra-wide camera with autofocus and macro support, and a 50 megapixel periscope telephoto lens with 3 times optical zoom, OIS, and up to 100 times digital zoom. So unlike many phones that rely heavily on one good main camera, Motorola is delivering a more balanced system across all focal lengths. And in real-world use, that's often much more useful. The periscope zoom in particular adds real flexibility, especially compared to simple digital zoom. Motorola also highlights Pantone validation for colors and skin tones, plus a wide range of camera features like motion tracking, night mode, portrait modes with different focal lengths, and more. So it's not just about hardware, but also about processing and flexibility. On the video side, you get up to 8K Dolby Vision at 30 FPS, 4K Dolby Vision at 60 or 30 FPS, and even 4K slow motion at 120 FPS. And on the front, there's a 50 megapixel selfie cam with autofocus that can record in 4K at 60 FPS. Now in the end, the Motorola Signature feels like a phone that's deliberately aiming for a more refined and mature premium experience instead of relying on flashy design or over-the-top features. Especially in Pantone Martini Olive Green, it has a unique look that stands out without being too loud or gimmicky. You get a very slim design, a strong display, flagship performance, a large battery with fast wired and wireless charging, and most importantly, a very capable camera system with 3 50 megapixel sensors. I would still be a little bit careful with luxury marketing because that's always subjective. But as a premium flagship with its own identity, the Motorola Signature is definitely a very convincing package. Now, if you're looking for a high-end smartphone that doesn't just feel like another generic flagship, but still delivers top-tier performance, display, battery, and cameras, this is definitely one to consider. And with that being said, that's it for today. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace.